Okay. Still waiting for you?
Oh, wait, what? Hey, can you see me?
My apologies, y'all. We just had the longest StreamYard glitch of all time. I'm gonna officially read my intro now.
There we go. What's good,
It's
y'all?
a red. It's a Red Kingdom Thursday edition. We talk about some Chiefs greats and some hopeful youngsters. All this before Independence Day. This is Gridiron Gambit.
Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for tuning in to this Red Kingdom media production, bringing you raw, authentic Chiefs coverage. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on your team. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
Let's work. Hey.
It's a wacky day. It's a Thursday edition of a Friday show, and we just had the weirdest glitch of all time.
I don't know what happened. Did I
Behind the
disappear?
scenes stuff. I clicked go live, and my screen just infinitely loads. And on his,
Wow.
my co-host side, he sees that we're live, and on my side, we're waiting to start, and we're both kind of making faces at each other, being like, "What the hell is going on?"
Great way to start the show.
That about sums up how things are going for us lately. But now that the technical difficulty has at least been resolved for now, that'll be a fun blooper you can download later, Jordan. I think we can officially say what's going on, guys. Hopefully you're having a great day. We are right before 4th of July, so hopefully you're getting a little bit of time off. We're a little late for our morning show, and we're also a day early, so I guess that kind of makes up for it.
There we go.
The duo of myself and Jordan, Jay Frank, we had to give you an episode before you officially start your holidays, or maybe you're officially starting to drive to that destination for that 4th of July weekend. But we won't waste any time of pleasantries between us, since StreamYard decided to not allow that. So we're just gonna immediately jump into our first topic, which is a sad one because it is an end of an era. With Casey Wolf officially hanging up the fursuit after, I believe, 35 years as the Chiefs' iconic mascot. How big of a cultural impact did he have on this franchise? And do you think anyone will be able to fill those oversized paws?
Man, he's the huge contributor to the Chiefs kingdom. I've been talking about this for all week, basically. Just thank you, Dan Mears. There we go. Just giving us the best time of our life. Like, I've been basically watching since I was 6, 7 years old, ever since I see my first Chiefs game, and just asking as a kid, like, what is that? Is that supposed to be a mouse or a rat? Just asking as a kid, but just all the joy that he brings in being one of the top mascots in any sports. It's just crazy how 35 years being so dedicated to being Mr. Casey Wolf himself is just not even a blessing. It's just love, pure love. And I'm just glad. It sucks that you have to hang it up, but we're glad to see you start your new journey and see even more blessings. And we're just glad that we got to experience you for so many years.
It will be tough for another human being to fill the shoes
It's hard.
The current mascot has made an impact. And I think when you think about mascots in general, you don't necessarily associate it with a particular individual. And if you do, it's never for a prolonged period of time. And I think pro sports is a weird medium in that regard, where a person can make a full-time living putting on a mascot outfit and doing charity events and public appearances and all the stuff in between, and kind of just put the oversized face out there in the community. So, with him retiring, that broke some hearts, including my own a little bit. And it was nice to kind of be able to say for a long time, no, this is one particular guy, and yes, he's real, and he does lots of good, and it's not just one guy appearing, or like any particular person showing up just for the game and moving on. It's like a full-time position in the NFL, and he's up there as one of the greats in terms of the impact that he's made. People will argue, it's Kansas City Chiefs, why is it a wolf, and like the idea and not that, but it's like basically since the inception of Casey Wolf, and has played the role about as perfectly as you could, and the entertainment that he brought, and the good feelings that he brought to all who saw him. He truly missed, and those impacts will be felt, long
Most
after.
definitely. The greatest of all time, the real MVP. As many times as I've seen you, also he even saw my belt too, which was good too as well. It's just it will be hard to try to fill them shoes, but it's just a blessing on how many years he put into showing Casey love and doing all the crazy things and just having fun. It's a blessing. It's just a blessing.
Yeah, I agree. And I think mascots get a bad rep too a lot of the times. That being annoying or an inconvenience or a distraction. But I clearly speaking for the both of us, that was not the case with Casey Wolf. It was always a fun, exciting time to see him interact with them. And the man inside the costume was really good at connecting with each and every person that he came across. And I felt that love was transferred each and every time you throw up the hand for a high five, or grab you, or touch, what I mean, like just trying to like make an interaction happen and allow that spark of connection to occur. And I always felt really good after that. So just from a personal standpoint, I appreciate the interactions that I had with him. But like, it goes way above that, the charitable events and the impact on the youth and stuff like that. Did you happen to see the videos released by the Chiefs commemorating Dan Mears stepping down? Because he had his kind of letter to the fans talking about how I'll miss you, and the whole thing is kind of addressed to be to whoever does take his spot. And it's all about you got a lot of big shoes to fill. The love that's been garnished here, you have to keep treasuring it and watering it and letting it grow and cultivate more and more. But that this is a special place already, and basically to do good and figure out what your thing is to produce the most joy and positivity in the world, whatever it is. So
we're already danced around it. Whoever will eventually take over the suit, it's going to have a lot of expectations on them. So we'll have to kind of be careful about that. But the costume still has a bunch of good vibes to it. So we feel like it's had enough history that it should rub off on whoever has it next. And I think that's going to be a process that the organization has to narrow down who the next Wolf prospect will be.
Hey, whoever the next prospect is, hey, you got to come out strong. You got to come out strong. Because, hey, 35 years. Hey, no room for failure at all.
Right. And officially leaving after the longest tenure, kind of like that Bill Belichick going out on top. So, I don't know offhand who the next one is, but, hopefully after this year, whoever does take over will, start that long line of KC Wolf legacy and maybe try to get his stamp in the mascot record books too. Anything else you want to wax poetically about for KC Wolf?
Hey, just thank you. We are definitely going to miss you. To the next man under the big head of his. Hey, we got high expectations for you. Give us all the love and joy that Mr. Mears gave us, and good luck to you. And hopefully, we get to see the man under the costume.
That's right. Hopefully, it's not him kind of disappearing from public eye, but kind of using it in a different platform. Because
and he's definitely going to be in the
personable guy.
Chiefs Hall of Fame. You already know it
for sure. And like he's too valuable. His character, not like the KC Wolf character, but like his human character, the soul of his character is too high that you cannot like kind of disappear from making impactful goods. So, I think he'll probably transition into some other capacity, and then we'll get to be able to see his real face and hear that voice that, didn't get to really showcase behind the face. So, we look forward to seeing what comes next. To tip of our caps to him, and, all the best for everyone going forward. So before we officially move forward, please
make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Red Kingdom Media. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave a like or comment so we can reply and interact with you and make you a part of the show. If you listen to us on Spotify, please rate us 5 stars so we can increase our reach in the playlist. Follow us and all our contributors on all the social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X. If you'd like to come on and talk Chiefs, message us so we can potentially set that up. Do you enjoy written content? Subscribe to our Substack. We have both a free and a $5 a month subscription and post on there frequently. And if you have any interest in being a contributor on the writing staff, feel free to reach out and we'll be in touch. It would help support the brand if you would purchase our merch, like the shirt that I'm wearing currently. Set up an order for one of these or 2 or 3, and this will allow us to expand our inventory options. Thanks for being a part of this channel, and if there's any partner that's listening to this interested in sponsoring the show or any other content that we produce, please reach out. Now, back to the show.
I mean, to hype up the shirts even more, we got a tandem today. We both telepathically said, "Oh, it's the day before 4th of July as we're recording this live. It's time to be festive, so we won't be there on the show for Friday. So, it's Red Kingdom Thursday. We've got to bring the logo shirts out. Hopefully y'all eventually pick those up, like, subscribe, your YouTube channel, all that other stuff. If y'all are fans watching this live or after the fact, please leave comments. We always look at them, reply, and try to get you more involved in the show. This is the platform for the fans, so as many opportunities allow, we want to try to make that happen for you guys. So moving on to our second topic, we've got Madden Madness. So Travis Kelce officially lands another 99 overall in Madden, while Patrick Mahomes, surprisingly, is only a 95. And I'll throw out that Chris Jones, whose birthday it is today as we're recording, is
Happy
only
birthday, 9-5.
is also only a 97 overall rating. So in terms of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, respectively, are those ratings fair? Or do you think EA is disrespecting Patrick Mahomes and or giving extra credit to Travis Kelce?
These Madden ratings never gets old. In a way, this is disrespectful in a way because this is probably the lowest he's been in 5 years. And I mean, they always base it off how the season goes, even though this man did go to the Super Bowl once again. Didn't win it this time. I feel like it would have been different if we would have won. They're like, hey, yeah, he definitely deserved that 99 after that Super Bowl. But ratings are ratings. Everybody hated to love it, loves to hate it. But it's just Madden ratings. I wouldn't get too technical about it and go up to Madden or go up to EA and go slap them like, hey, give me a 99. But I mean, things change. Like Madden ratings change throughout the season, like always. Because just let's say somebody gets injured and they get 99 overall, they probably take that man out the game because he's out for the season. But I doubt if they do that. But with Madden and the updates and all that stuff, they would take him out. But other than that, I feel like it's not really disrespectful. This is the lowest we've seen Patrick Mahomes in Madden as a 95 overall. Chris Jones, I'm not mad at it. That's a good overall for him. Of course, Kelce go get that 99. We might mess around and see Pacheco at like a 80 when he should be like a solid 85. Might see Kareem Hunt as a 90 after the season he had with us.
So
like ratings gonna be ratings.
You were right almost there. Isaiah Pacheco is an 84 overall.
Hey,
way to be kind of right there on the dot. So since we're going into it, why don't I read at least the top 10 Madden ratings, and then we'll kind of react to that, and then I'll give my kind of take on the main 2 stars. So Travis Kelce is the only Chiefs player with a 99 overall. And I mean, after last season, I know there's some people in the Chiefs kingdom that are like would question, okay, Patrick Mahomes can't get the legacy 99 overall because he's already kind of proven himself as being an MVP of the league every single time at LeBron James level. I mean, even LeBron James in 2K and stuff isn't always 99. So like 2K will find a way to lower a rating if somehow, just because they've got to feel like to balance the game out. Like, especially Madden. Madden's the type of game where if a quarterback is so dominant, like a Madden 04 Vic, that's all that people care about, and that's all they will play. So, Madden, just like the NFL, is trying to spread out the love, especially for different quarterbacks, and probably talk about that same type of thing as the next week or 2 or maybe even month kind of finish up as the NFL Top 100 has officially started releasing, their
definitely got to see that.
So, there's definitely going to be a debate: is Patrick Mahomes one? And then when he's not one, we're all going to be extremely upset and say, what does this go by? It's because it's always a what have you done for me lately?
Right.
So that's why I could see Travis Kelce at 99, but Patrick Mahomes is less than that. Did Patrick Mahomes really play worse than his previous self than Travis Kelce did for what he did last year? I mean, Travis Kelce has like gone on record to say like, oh, I might not have been in the best shape or whatever to account for that, and that this year might be better. But like, if people are waiting to see like, oh, he's definitely slowed down or his production is dropping, last year is the candidate year that they're going to choose to do it. So if the Madden ratings are going to stay 99 for him, then Patrick Mahomes last year really suffer knowing that half of his offensive weapons were gone in some capacity.
Right.
So, so like I'm not too upset by Mahomes not being a 99, but if you have the best player in the league, if they're not, the best rating you can, that part just doesn't make sense at all.
Right.
So, Chris Jones is the second highest at 97. You said that's rightfully so, and I would probably agree. I understand if you don't want to put him at 99. Arguably he could be because he's still at this point the best defensive tackle in the league. But there are some other players that are arguing for that same spot, just like there's probably a quarterback that is ranked higher than Patrick Mahomes based on last year's production versus the year before that. So underneath Patrick Mahomes is, ironically, his center, who he reaches under, is Creed Humphrey at a 94. So I don't know if that's the number one highest center, but a 94 is pretty good.
Yeah, he probably line. Is.
And then tied with that same rating is Trent McDuffie.
Yeah.
So Trent McDuffie already being a 94, that's a big step. And the guys mentioned he hasn't really gotten Pro Bowl nods. He's gotten some All Pros. So Pro Bowl is like the popularity contest of voting, and All Pro are like the real ones watching film all the time saying, nope, this guy is that next step. So, and then surprisingly, the last 90 overall or higher is Trey Smith at a 90 overall. So Creed Humphrey being 4 levels ahead of Trey Smith can be arguable one way or the other, but it makes sense that two duo get the Madden rating love because the front office has basically gloated about them ever since they were rookies, and Creed has his contract, and prayers are up that Trey Smith gets his pretty soon and can make some cap relief happen. Maybe, hopefully, as we're recording this, a 4th of July midnight deal or whatever. But Trey Smith at a 90, Creed at a 94. You could argue those are higher, but that's the homer in us. They should be 99s or they should be 80s. Who's to say all that? So then we have a stretch of 5 players to round out to spots 10 and 11, all being at 84 overall. I already mentioned Isaiah Pacheco as one of them at number 7. Leo Chenal actually gets a huge boost to be an 84.
Interesting. I'm surprised I didn't hear Nick Bolton.
Well, and then to round out the other linebacker, it's actually Drew Tranquil at an 84 overall. And then in front of him, you have George Karlaftis at an 84 overall. And then Rashee Rice as an 84 overall. I think a lot of us saw what Rashee Rice did and the impact he immediately left and said he should be, kind of in that 90s club already.
Right.
But he probably needs another, he probably needs another season or 2 of amazing production for the NFL to see that as, Rashee Rice success and less about, Patrick Mahomes hyping him up. And just because you threw out the name, I'll read out the last 5 players that are only up to about an 80 overall or higher. So Nick Bolton is the 12th highest ranked Chiefs player at an 83. So Leo Chenal is ranked 1. Leo Chenal and Drew Tranquil both are ranked ahead of Nick Bolton. And at this point, we know the contract Nick Bolton received. So, I mean, it's not by a lot. I mean, it's 84 to 83. So that's still a good linebacking core for sure.
Right. Solid.
But the way that the Chiefs talk about Nick Bolton, you would think that he's like super high up there in terms of the ratings, but they're not getting the same love that the interior offensive line was getting. So At 13, you have Harrison Butker being an 82 overall kicker.
But kicker
For you. Kareem Hunt, surprisingly, is an 82. So Kareem Hunt being however much older than Isaiah Pacheco is only down 2 overalls from Pacheco after kind of a down slump for Pacheco last year where Kareem Hunt kind of took the ball and ran with it. No pun intended. And then to round out the pair of wide receivers that are 80 overalls, you have the small but mighty Xavier Worthy and Marquise Hollywood Brown. So, 16 out of the core group of players are 80 overall or higher, with only 199 and 690 overalls or higher. I could spend the time to click over and see what the Eagles are at, but that's not the right show or right platform for that. We just got to talk about this team. But
we already know Saquon's on the cover. He's a 99, probably.
Absolutely. So, I get it. When you're a company like this, you can't highly rank every single player like the Homer and us or the others may want to do. But you gotta just question where the data is being driven from that dictates whether Travis Kelce stays 99 and or Mahomes drops to 95. What are those contributing factors you saw that definitely swayed you to say, nope, Mahomes is getting worse, but Travis Kelce is still absolutely fine the way he is. And I'm not arguing for either one of them, really. Those two in particular, and even Chris Jones, you could say that's the 3 core pillars of the Chiefs. If you take any one of those 3 away, at least in the last couple of years, the Super Bowl's not in the picture anymore. So if that's the case, they should be 99 overall. But that's how ratings are different than achievements and awards and stuff like that, and most valuable players and team captains and most valuable team or person on a certain team or whatever. So, this is a company giving them ratings, depends on where their data comes from. I don't think they're doing it in a way to be, disrespectful to Patrick Mahomes or any particular player. They get their ear chewed off all the time. Why am I this? I should be this. But they ain't listening. It's based off whatever they go off of. But while I don't necessarily because it's somewhat fair, just because
understandable.
Because I've had this same conversation too, and I think a lot of us are hoping for an offensive spark and hope we see it again. But the Mahomes that we saw right out of the gate was this fireworks explosions all the time, and now it seems like we got sparklers and smoke bombs right now. And I'm thinking that's going to be good enough for an explosive performance. We're still going to need some firepower in some way, and we hopefully bring that back. But so maybe that has something to do with it, with Mahomes dropping a little bit, because worse than 50 touchdowns. We've all kind of said the same thing. The game is just played a little differently than what we were kind of teased with at the very start of his career. So if we taper our expectations that and go back to the Tom Brady approach, are we winning games and championships majority of the time? Then the answer is yes. We have to just kind of live with that, and just we'll live with Mahomes getting slighted in Madden rankings and NFL countdown rankings and Jamar Chase conversation, you name it. Bring all the slander to Patrick Mahomes. He'll take that
like always,
fuel, use it as fire, and he will burn through with the fiery passion that does something for the Chiefs and us that makes history and do something that we've never seen before. We're grateful to be the type of history being made all the time, and there are times we didn't think things like these would occur. So as much as we at times complain and hope things get even more explosive. We're still like very truly grateful of the ascension that the Chiefs have done to be a team that people notice, even if they're not necessarily from here. So, we welcome that, and we love all, and hopefully the Chiefs can continue being, one of the main teams out there, so we can keep making an impact on others as well.
Oh yeah, everybody loves to hate on them, so it never changes. Literally.
Yeah. Anything else you got to say about the masterminds at EA and their decisions they made about our roster?
So this is a question for the people out there that is watching right now or will watch it. Put in the comments section what quarterbacks will be over Patrick Mahomes' rating this year. I already see Josh Allen since he was the MVP. You got Lamar Jackson. I'm interested on seeing where to go put Jalen Hurts since he won the Super Bowl.
Right.
And I think last year he was a 94, if I'm not mistaken. He was somewhere in the 94 to 95 range or somewhere around there. Interesting to see where they put Joe Burrow at. Because I know he had a rough patch in the beginning, but he really picked it up halfway through this after the second half of the season. So I wonder where they go put him at. Any other quarterbacks? CJ Stroud, see where they go put him at this year. I see probably 91, maybe. I'm just throwing it out there. Probably 91.
Then you have Brock Purdy with his giant contract. See if that influences his Madden ranking.
I see him more as an 80, 89, 88.
Right.
Not too high. Of course, Christian McCaffrey's going to be high. I say 95. They're going to probably put him at a 95 this year. Definitely due to injuries and stuff. It'll probably be between a 93 to 96. Definitely since he was injured most of the year. So, but that's my take.
Well, yep, that'll be interesting to watch that kind of debate. So and so is better than so and so. Joe Burrow eats Mahomes, but Lamar eats Burrow, but Mahomes eats Jackson, but Allen eats. You know what I mean? It's just a revolving door of who catches who. So,
right.
We'll see how that goes. But back to our good old Chiefs talk. Talk about Chiefs roster moves. Our last topic is the camp sleeper watch. So, as we know, training camps are soon here. And which under the radar player on the Chiefs roster do you believe has the best chance to make a name for himself this year?
Let's go with Royal, Mr. Royal himself. I think I'm about to say I ain't gonna say I got high hopes for him. Like a lot of people thought Scott Moore was gonna come out and do ball the fuck out. Scott Moore, you got a lot of. I ain't gonna say explaining to do, but you got a lot of. You're on the hot seat, so you got to come out strong. But Royal, I can say he can definitely contribute for sure to the offense. Definitely with his speed, and I ain't gonna lie, he definitely got some good hands as well. A lot of teammates and stuff been talking about Royal, which is a good thing, and how he tends to fit with the offense just a little bit. He still got to build up that chemistry to see how everything goes, and I think because they've been playing him at the slot receiver, which of course with his speed and everything, I don't mind that. But do we see him or see us using him more for like just sweeps with it? How we use with Xavier Worthy? Are we gonna see him more with the deep ball, or we gonna see him with the drags? I can say for sure Royal is my sleeper for this year. And another person, I go ahead and say Scott Moore. I can see him contributing more as he did last year.
Okay.
So,
Dre, last episode has that same hopes that you do about Sky Moore, but I don't think a lot of Kingdoms got a good taste in their mouths for him. So
yeah. But I only said that because he's really on the hot seat right now. So
that's a good point. Where there's pressure, there's either diamonds are made or disintegration happens, and we'll see what happens to Sky Moore's career this summer. Jalen Royals is a good choice. That's probably the main one that everyone's thinking about because just the latest resurgence of rookie wide receivers that actually do make an impact year one, whether it's take over the league and be 1,000 yards right away, kind of like Rashee Rice, or you find your way on the field almost each and every game instead of a slow build up that we thought we've seen the precedent set time before that. I don't think Josh Simmons is really under the radar anymore, so I don't think I can really throw his name out there as a choice. But the fact that he gets talked about as like a left tackle right away kind of just proves my point that it doesn't matter how much money you're getting paid. If you're the best player, you'll play. So if I'm ignoring my Josh Simmons take here for a second, I think I got to throw Brashard Smith out there just because the Chiefs are really good at utilizing speedy running back, wide receiver, hybrid type players, getting them involved on special teams, getting them, toss out the backfield or something like that. Just get him in open space, run out. He could be kind of an electric player that can make a play at an unexpected time. Possible punt returner. I think people assume Nico Remigio's role is kind of set in stone, but if Brashard Smith kind of makes an impact and Dave Toub gets a liking to him, then that could kind of guarantee his spot on the roster. And then with him being like in the room and on the team all the time, that can allow Andy Reid to see where his skill sets are the strongest and see where he can get him production and touches in real NFL action. But just because the Chiefs in general are a franchise that's really good at taking kind of special teamsy players and them just kind of being household names by the end of the third quarter, that's what leads my mind to go there. And if I'm going to pick somebody on defense, I might try to go between the two defensive linemen that were drafted in terms of Norman Lott or Gelati. Don't really know which one is set to make the most impact, but I think it doesn't really matter because Spagnuolo loves to kind of utilize any and everybody in different spots. So, if I said it's the defensive tackle that's going to eat next year, it's actually the edge rusher on the opposite side of Chris Jones. And, depending if Omenihu is on the inside, maybe that's Gelati's spot and he gets to eat those free sacks. You know what I mean? Right. Or George Karlaftis is there, so he still gets it. But just having some more high motor guys that are really good at pressuring the quarterback is something the Chiefs were kind of lacking as the end of the season rolled around. And we saw that really definitively in the Super Bowl when all the pressure was being pushed into Patrick Mahomes' face. Jalen Hurts, made cup of coffee, ordered a pizza, watched a 20-minute movie, and then found A.J. Brown and chucked it down there. So, it was clear the front needed some help, even with Tershawn walking away. Chris Jones can only do so much, despite how great he is. And I think I'm just also hoping that those two rookies can make an impact, whether their name is called or on film it showed, hey, he got pressure quickly, and that allowed Chris Jones on his side, who also beat his guy quickly, and he finally got a one-on-one matchup, which was a miracle in this rate at this point in the game. But Chris Jones got to eat, and Norman Lott right next to him was a key cog in why that took place. I think that's what we would need to see out of the defense, because Spagnuolo is really not the type to bring in a player and then be like the immediate star. I could throw Christian Fulton's name out there to say, if he truly is like the number 2 cornerback and it's like the boundary corner for the Chiefs, that's a real good sleeper pick. But I also don't think that anybody coming on the team immediately, barring like, a real true NFL veteran like Honey Badger and Justin Reed and players like that, and they haven't had injuries and there's like 0 question marks around them. I just think Spags is going to start things slow, and he really likes to utilize his young secondary, and now he's got some young defensive linemen to rotate in, and Joe Cullen will like that and can mold the guys into some dominant players. And maybe the actual under the radar player is going to be George Karlaftis, because there's even less pressure on him right now to be that big pressure, big sack guy. But it's never been easier for him at this rate to be able to do that. So while the pressure is simultaneously off of him, the potential is leaning over, bringing that pressure on instead. So, I rambled a lot and threw out a bunch of defensive names, but that's just how our defensive works, man. There's never one guy doing everything. We just talked about Nick Bolton not being the highest rated linebacker, but all of them are ranked about the same, because we have a type and we try to get and have the best players available. And sometimes they're really good at one thing, and sometimes they're just good at a bunch of stuff. We'll see kind of the benefit of one way or the other. Trent McDuffie was a boundary corner a lot because the amount of corners on the Chiefs roster of the last couple of years could fluctuate up and down. And but this year he's set to be like in the slot right away. And if Trent McDuffie's in the slot, that's arguably the best spot he can be, and where his abilities shine the brightest. So, he's definitely not on the radar. His ratings are, amazing for his age and the amount of years he's had in the NFL with us so far. But, the players around the stars, the Chiefs defensive under the radar players. So, we'll have to check on, what happens, but, we're all kind of speculating here. But either way, we're expecting some big things. We're never going into a training camp saying, it's going to be a struggle. We're not going to see anything positive and, things are hopeless. We go in pretty optimistic. We see some new areas of improvements, and then we have our nerdy camp battle discussions about who's going to win and why this player is going to make it out of the preseason and blah, blah, blah. But, the dead zone of NFL offseason as a real season rolls around. But those conversations can be the most fun, even if they feel the most pointless sometimes.
But yeah, I'm about to say, if I had to pick somebody on the defense, as an honorable mention, we talked about him before in previous episodes. Mr. Let Him Cook himself, Brian Cooks, definitely coming off an injury. We already talked about this before, just seeing since we lost Reed, how is he going to come out as a ball hawk or a heavy hitter like Justin Reed? And that's one of my sleeper picks for the defense. And also, I could say Leo Chenal for one. That's a big contributor to the defense for sure. And everybody's gonna come around and switch everything up, and we got the three-headed dragons and Leo Chenal, George Karlaftis, and Nick Bolton. It was just see how things lie, because Karlaftis could play that defensive end spot and mess around, become the outsider, inside linebacker. And I'm just interested on seeing how those three compare. Well, not compare, but switch around in the middle of the defense.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, my honorable mention for one is Brian Cooks.
All right. And your Leo Chenal shout out, he was the highest rated linebacker according to Madden. So, but we've never utilized him to his full extent. He's never seems to be on the field like all the time. And it feels like he has the speed that Drew Tranquil does while still being like as hard hitting and aggressive as Nick Bolton is. So, Madden seems to think that he's kind of the perfect linebacker and the marriage between the two. But so far, the Chiefs have kind of utilized him in pressure points or being a key field goal blocker. So, that's a big role in and of itself. But we're all hoping for some big things, some big players. We don't want to. We can shout out everybody. We could shout out the entire 2025 rookie class. We could shout out any player hoping to make the roster, but that's not what you guys want to hear. You guys want to hear our raw, authentic reactions and our actual thoughts. So that's what we got. It's not always perfect, just like the beginning of the show. Hopefully the ending of the show, we kind of smoothed out this ride. But thank you all for joining us, watching live, listening now after the fact. We really appreciate the dedication and love and support that you guys give to us. Really drives us and makes us to be better and give you guys content even when things are going either bad or rough or we lose track of time, whatever the case may be. We still try to fight through and give you the best talk possible and try to get there, try to get the love and support out to you guys as much as you dish it out to us. So I will stop rambling because you guys probably want to start enjoying your 4th of July weekend if you're starting it here on Thursday. But if it's officially the 4th weekend for you now or after it and you've celebrated it, hope it was memorable, worthwhile, and you spent it with people that you love and doing something to take your mind off of the stressors of life. And hopefully this channel, this podcast, this everything is one little footnote in that journey with you. So with all that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. And as always, go Chiefs.
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion, so please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate, your trusted source for all things Chiefs, Red Kingdom Media.